Good evening, all of you. We'll wait for 2 more minutes, then we'll start our session. Very good evening to all of you. Um, so today we have already covered 5 blocks, from Unit 1 to Unit 21. We have block 6, 7, and 8. Today we will discuss block 6. So we have Unit 22, 23, and 24. Okay. Okay, so Unit 22 is about conceptualizing ethnicity. Okay, it's in page number 67, conceptualizing ethnicity. So here we will discuss about what is class and what is ethnicity, and the construction of ethnicity, and where we will look at the 3 models of ethnicity, that is primordialist, instrumentalist, and constructivist models of ethnicity. Okay, and there also we will discuss about the relationship between race and ethnicity. Okay, so first let's now talk about what is the concept of ethnicity, what it is. So basically ethnicity is a group identity. Okay, it's a group identity based on shared attributes such as language, or culture, or religion, ancestry, etc. So this concept of ethnicity, it is derived from the ancient Greek word, that is ethnos. Okay, Greek word ethnos, which means a range of situations where there is a sense of collectivity of humans that live and act together. Okay, so this is the concept of ethnicity, which has come from the ancient Greek word, that is ethnos. So the notion is often translated today as people or nation. Okay, so uh, just a sec. Okay. This term ethnicity was popularized in common American usage with the publication of Yankee City series, which was published in 1941. Uh, there are 2 books written by W. Lawler Warner and Paul S. Lunt. This is The Social Life of a Modern City, which is published in 1941. And the second is The Status System of a Modern Community, that is 1942. Okay, is my voice is clear? Is my voice is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So let's now talk about uh, the ethnicity or ethnicity studies. So here there is whatever maybe the limitations of in numerous studies on ethnicity. One common denominator that stands out is that ethnicity studies are conducted in relation to others and focus on the external. I'll discuss in voluntary objective and internal, that is voluntary subjective. So ethnicity in sociological literature is often construed in relation to the concepts like class and modernity. So basically here ethnicity that we are talking about, the concept ethnicity concept को हमें देखो basically as a এটা হচ্ছে ଗୋଟେ গ্রুপ আইডেন্টিটি ওকে যাହାର বেସିସ୍ ହେଉଛି ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ ରିଲିଜିଅନ କଲଚର ଏକ୍ସେଟ୍ରା ଏକ୍ସେଟ୍ରା ତ ସେଇ ବେସିସ୍ରେ ଆମେ ଏବେ ଦେଖିବା what is class and ethnicity. So first of all, what is class? um, the concept of class rooted in Marxian dictum of hierarchies and etc. First, class is a system of ordering the society. Okay, a system of ordering the society whereby people are divided into sets, which is based on perceived social or economic status. Okay, we are talking about social stratification. What is it? Social stratification, when the society, the groups, they are stratified on the basis of some rank. Okay, the higher there is higher rank, middle rank, lower rank, etc., etc. So the classification system re ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ କଥା କହୁଛେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ହେଉଛି a system of ordering the society, ଯୋଉଟା କି on the basis of social status or economic status through divide ହେଇଥିବ. Okay, that is class. And ethnicity as a social construct has also evolved on perceptions of bonding and collectivity. So what does it mean? Uh, the concept of ethnicity, जोटा कि class theorists, uh, they use the concept of exploitation by the others. Okay, the concept of exploitation by the others, this concept is used as an instrument for strengthening class solidarity. Okay, okay. If you remember, we have read in Marxian concept of class. Okay, जोठी आमे कथा होथिले कि class system. So there is the master slaves or the capitalists and the proletariat. Okay, proletariat माने जेतेबेले they are getting exploited by the bourgeois or the capitalist class. Okay, ସେମାନେ ତାଙ୍କର exploitation होउची through the capitalist ମାନଙ୍କ द्वारा. And ସେତେବେଳେ ସେଟା ଆମେ କ'ଣ କହୁଛେ, exploitation by the others, ଯେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କ ଦ୍ୱାରା ସେମାନେ exploitation ତାଙ୍କର ହେଉଛି. And certainly ଯେତେବେଳେ ଏଇ consciousnessଟା ସେଇ proletariat ମାନଙ୍କ ମାଇଣ୍ଡରେ ଆସୁଛି କି ଆମେ class in itself ରୁ ଯିବା class for itself. ଓକେ, ଯେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ସଲିଡାରିଟି ଆସୁଛି, ତାପରେ ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି, ସେମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ସୋସାଇଟିରେ ରିଭଲ୍ୟୁସନ ଆଣିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି, ଯୋଉ ରିଭଲ୍ୟୁସନ ଆଣିଲେ so that capitalist ମାନଙ୍କୁ ସେମାନେ societyରୁ totally throw out କରିଦେବେ. ତ ସେଇ class theorists, they use the concept of exploitation by the others as an instrument to strengthen class solidarity. Okay, so then so here also another this is in page number 68. Daniel Bell, in his acclaimed essay on ethnicity and social change, okay, there are some definitions that you have to read and remember the definitions. Mm, Ethnicity provides a tangible set of common identifications in language, uh, food, music, names, when other social roles become more abstract and impersonal. So first of all, what is tangible and intangible? Okay, the things which we can touch and the things which we cannot touch, we can only feel that intangible aspect, and tangible is we can touch it. Okay, so ethnicity provides a tangible set of common identifications. This is the definition that you need to remember. Then comes Glacier and Moynihan in their writings beyond the melting pot. Acha. So there is we will discuss the three units. A lot of things, lot of concepts are there is repetition. So melting point description form সেটা হচ্ছে ইউনিট 3 সরি ইউনিট 22 24 রে আছে সেটা আমি দেখিবা in detail we will discuss. uh, so here basically this is about ethnicity and the definitions in this continuing 3 pages, that please read it and don't forget to read this box 22.1, whatever boxes are there. These are basically the concepts explanation. Please do read it. Okay, so let's now talk about so there are some references to ethnic groups in the literature pertaining to early decades of the 20th century. What are those literatures? So first is I am this is in page. I am in page number 69. Okay, this is the second paragraph. The two things emerge in Jenkins' interesting interpretation of ethnicity. Okay, first suggests that Jenkins is one of the thinker. Okay, notions of ethnicity and ethnic group travel together. This ethnic group, if ethnicity emerged as a key sociological and political concept only in the 70s, it was in operation as a sociological reality much before that, and was commonly addressed in solidarities and differences that mark social and cultural groups. It was the first sense, and second sense re se kon kouchhanti ethnic group appeared as a natural and neutral option to the much beleaguered and abused notion of race. Jenkins in detail more next next while କହିବି. Being part of an ethnic group provides a sense of belonging and an assertion of identity. This sense of it is there only in the page 69. A sense of belonging and an assertion of identity. This sense of belonging and identity also accompanies certain advantage and disadvantage. Okay, so in this all 3 pages, please do remember the definitions, and for your answer writing, maximum 2 to 3 definition is enough. Okay, so any 2 or 3 definitions that you just mug up. Okay, now come to 22.3, construction of ethnicity. This is in page number 70. Okay. So there we will look at some of the thinkers' view. So first is this is Weber, Max Weber. In one of his important contributions, namely Economy and Society, ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ major work Economy and Society जोटा कि publish ହେଇଥିଲା in 1922 and it was reprinted in 1968. So there he talks about an ethnic group to be a group whose members share a belief that they have a common ancestor, or to put it differently, they are of common descent. Okay, I repeat, an ethnic group to be a group whose members share a belief that they have a common ancestor, or to put it differently, they are of common descent. ता अर्थ से कहउछन्ति कोन ना एथनिक ग्रुप कहले गोटे ग्रुप रो जो मेंबर्स माने जहां जो माने कि गोटे कॉमन एंसेस्ट्री को बिलोंग करूछन्ति एंसेस्ट्री माने आम जो पुराना जेनरेशंस गोटे जेनरेशंस बा कॉमन डिसेंट मींस आमे वी आर रिलेटेड थ्रू ब्लड बाय ब्लड जोटा एंसेस्ट्री से थ्रू रु ए एथनिक ग्रुप रो कांसेप्ट आस ओके and Weber perceived ethnic group as a status group. How is it status group? Ethnic group is a status group. First, a status group may be rooted in perceptions of shared religion, language, or culture. The members of the group, on the basis of shared communality, tend to form monopolistic social closure. That is, they refuse to let others enter their exclusive domain. Okay. Every member here of the group knows what is expected of him in situations of collective participation. They also function together to protect each other's honor and dignity. Okay, I'll give you one example. Suppose I'm going to tribal community को जाऊँ tribal area. Okay, सेठी ट्राइबल एरिया आम सपोज आम जाऊे कि गोटे कम या फिर रिसर्च जहाँ भी सडन आम एंट्री कले से माने तुरंत किसी गोटे अपोज करेंगे बिकज दे नो कि माने आम कम्युनिटी रो बिलोंग करूना ओके तो से माने एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम कीपिंग इन माइंड द सिचुएशन तांकर कलेक्टिव जो कॉन्साइंस कलेक्टिवली से माने एकठा ही जानती सो दैट से माने फेस करेंगे कि आउटसाइडर रो किए गला कौन पाई गला है ना सो दे फंक्शन टुगेदर टू प्रोटेक्ट ईच अदर्स ऑनर एंड डिग्निटी ओके एटा थिला वेबर को कांसेप्ट देन एथनिसिटी एज ए theoretical tool for understanding complex questions of social interaction and political formations holds equal interest not only for sociologists but also for anthropologists and political scientists. So in a broad sense, there are three approaches to understand the concept of ethnicity. Okay, first is primordialist, then instrumentalist, and then constructivist approach. So first, let's talk about what is primordialist approach. This is the same page, number 70. Primordialist approach, this is, it recognizes biology as the fundamental for establishing ethnic identity. Okay, the biology as the fundamental for establishing ethnic identity. Ethnic identity कथा हमें कहिले basically हमें mind रे रखी थाउ biology or the biological roots. The biological roots are determined by genetic and geographical factors. These linkages result in the formation of close-knit kin groups. Kin माने relatives. Close-knit kin groups. Kinship loyalties. What is kinship? Kinship here means the relationship which is based through blood, either through blood or through marriage. Okay, so this is kinship. Kinship loyalties demand that near relatives are favored by those in situations of common and controlling resources. So basically এটা মনে রাখো कि primordialist approach कहिले आमे generally आमे देखि थाउ biological root बा genetic geographical factors सेति ऊपर आमे focus करि थाउ. Then when we talk about socio-biological interpretations of ethnicity, this is in page number 71. Socio-biological interpretation of ethnicity, here we assume that there are tangible explanations for ethnicity. We're talking about socio-biological. That means here attention is given on the tangible tangible explanations for ethnicity. So, who are the followers? They are convinced that genetic linkages by itself are responsible for accentuating ethnic ties. Another group within the same school thinks that biological and kinship ties evolve and are furthered by cultural influences. Um, just a sec. The Shaw and Ong, that recognition of group affiliation. Okay, you just do remember what is primordialist? Important question in the understanding of uh, primordialists. They argue that kinship bonds and cultural attachments would always reign supreme and govern social and political actions. Um, Kinship bonds and cultural attachments. Kinship bonds, what is kinship bonds? The bonds which is either based on through blood relatives, or which is based on through marriage, suppose husband wife, and blood relatives, suppose parents and children. Okay, this is kinship bonds. And cultural attachment, that would reign supreme, and it governs social and political actions. So here, one of the very important thinker, um, he is Clifford Geertz. Clifford Geertz, ତାଙ୍କର important work ଅଛି on culture. ସେଟା ଟିକେ net ରେ check କରିଦବ. He is talking about crystallization of a direct conflict between primordial and civil sentiments. So differences in terms of culture, language, religion, and origins are accepted and celebrated, but perpetuation of any of these uh, students of ethnicity are constantly engaged in debating. Okay, leave it. I'll give you specific notes on primordialist approach. Okay, a very short note I'll provide you after the class. Okay, let's now talk because we are running short of time. This is 7 o'clock, and by 8:30, I need to do all three. So then comes the instrumentalist approach. It is it became popular in sociological and political science writings in late 60s and early 70s. So who are the thinkers? They have worked on this approach, the Frederick Barth and Paul Brass. They have popularized the instrumentalist position in social science literature. ଆଉ ଏଇ approach ଟାକୁ instrumentalist approach ଟାକୁ also ଆମେ କହୁ କି situationalist perspective. Instrumentalist approach or situationalist approach. Okay, so it argues that people can change membership and move from one ethnic group to another. The change can take place either because of the circumstances or, as Paul Brass says, because of manipulation by political elites. କିଛି situation को देखिकी आमे गोटे जगारो आ गोटे जगह को शिफ्ट करि थाओ. जगह means our membership, है ना, from one ethnic group to keeping in mind the situation, से जगार circumstances कोन सेटा को माइंड करी आमे जते बेले मूव करि थाओ. ଆଉ ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କି ବର୍ଥ, ଫ୍ରେଡରିକ୍ ବର୍ଥ, and Paul Brass କହୁଛନ୍ତି କି it happens because of manipulation of political elites. He regarded ethnicity as a product of political myths created and manipulated by cultural elites in their pursuit of advantages and power. Power is next. Then this approach, instrumentalist approach to ethnicity, this basically what it says, this approach says or it views ethnic identity as a strategic and flexible tool. Okay, ethnic identity as a strategic and flexible tool used by individuals or groups to achieve political, economic, or social goals. Okay, this is the theme of this approach, instrumentalist approach. I repeat, This approach to ethnicity, it views ethnic identity as a strategic and flexible tool which is used by individuals or groups to achieve political, economic or social goals. ଆମର political, economic ଆଉ social goals को achieve କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଏଇଟା ହଉଛି ଗୋଟେ instrument, okay, जोटा कि individual or group जे use करथांती. Uh, so, ethnicity is also seen as a means to mobilize support, gain resources, and assert power. This perspective also emphasizes the role of elites and institutions in constructing and manipulating ethnic boundaries for advantage. Um, and it contrasts with primordialism. Primordialism, जो टाइम कहते से primordialism sees ethnicity as fixed and inherent. Okay. And instrumentalism highlights how ethnic identities can change over time and context, which is shaped by interests and circumstances rather than by tradition alone. Okay, so these were the two approach to ethnicity. Let's now talk about the third approach or model, that is constructivist model of ethnicity. Here I already left Wallman and then Abner Cohen, etc., etc. There are some thinkers, what they have explained, just you have to read it. Constructivist model of ethnicity. This model of ethnicity, it says, yeah, ortho kono? Ethnic identities as socially constructed. Okay, constructivist model এটা কହୁଛି कि ethnic identities are socially constructed. These are fluid and these are shaped by historical, political, and social contexts. Okay, I repeat, ethnic identities are socially constructed, fluid, and shaped by historical, political, and social contexts. So, according to this model, ethnicity is not a fixed or inherent trait, but it is created and redefined through interaction, discourse, and institutional influences. And so, here it emphasizes that ethnic categories are formed through collective experiences and are subject to change over time. Constructivist thinkers mane jo achanti, or the constructivists, what they argue that ethnicity emerges from shared beliefs, symbols, and practices that are continually negotiated. And this approach contrasts with primordialist approach, which ethnicity primordialist manankara view kon thila. They were talking about the genetic factor, the geographical factor, or the biology. Okay, biological root. So primordialists semane kohti ki ethnicity as biologically or culturally given and aligns more closely with modern understandings of identity formation. Okay, so these were the three approaches or three models of ethnicity. Let's now talk about 22.7 Jenkins model of ethnicity. This is in page number 75. Jenkins model of ethnicity. His full name is Richard Jenkins. Okay, Richard Jenkins. His model of ethnicity basically emphasizes the social construction of ethnic identity. I repeat, the social construction of ethnic identity is being emphasized by Richard Jenkins, which view it as a product of both internal processes of group identification and external processes of social categorization. Okay, here he is arguing that ethnicity is not a fixed or primordial entity. It is not a fixed or primordial entity, but rather it is a fluid and dynamic process. What is dynamic? Dynamic means not static. Which is not static, that is dynamic. Dynamic means ever changing, the ongoing. So ethnicity is a fluid and dynamic process, ever changing, ongoing process influenced by power relations, social categorization, and the interactions between individuals and groups. Okay, so Richard Jenkins, he has rejected the idea of ethnicity as a natural or inherent characteristic, and what he argues instead is that it is socially constructed through interactions, narratives, and power dynamics. Just to remember that ethnicity is socially constructed through interactions, narratives, and power dynamics. That's it. And Jenkins also emphasizes the importance of both self-identification, which is internal, and external categorization by others uh, in shaping ethnic identity. Okay, he emphasizes the importance of both individual self-identification and external categorization by others in shaping ethnic identity. And also, the third point, Jenkins he highlights the role of power and authority in shaping in shaping ethnic categories, as those in power can define and impose categories on others. ଯାହାଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ power ଥିବ, they can impose, um, they can define and they can impose the categories on others. Okay, so he's talking about the role of power and authority in shaping ethnic categories. Okay, then he's also talking about uh, a distinction between normal or explicit and virtual or implicit dimensions of ethnic identities, and recognizing that individuals may hold different understandings of their ethnic identity. Okay, here basically he is distinguishing between the nominal and virtual aspect. Okay, then uh, when he is talking about social relations, yes, social relations, he emphasizes the importance of social relations and interactions in the formation and maintenance of ethnic identities. Okay, so overall, when we talk about Jenkins, his model offers a more dynamic understanding of ethnicity, uh, moving away from static primordialist views. Primordialist views এটি কোন? আমি যেটা কথা কইଥିଲି কি that is based on the biological root, genetic factor, geographical factor, etc. So moving away from static primordialist views, it is a more of a dynamic understanding of ethnicity, and it focuses on the social processes that shape ethnic identities and boundaries. Okay, that's it. That is about Jenkins' model of ethnicity. Okay, next is race and ethnicity. This is in page number 76. Okay, race and ethnicity. These are both ways of categorizing people, um, but they differ in their basis. Okay, so first, race. Race is often defined by physical characteristics. Okay, race is defined by physical characteristics, whereas ethnicity is based on the cultural traits, the shared cultural traits like language, history, customs, etc., etc. Race is a social construct, which means it is defined by society rather than being purely it is biological. Okay, so it is defined by the society. It is a social construct. On the other hand, ethnicity is often associated with a sense of cultural identity and belonging. Okay, so this is between race and ethnicity. আর টিকে দেখিবা race and ethnicity. হ্যাঁ, race, আমি তোমার race কথা কইছি. Race is a social construct. Uh, it is based on observable physical differences, like we are talking about skin color, hair texture, or facial features. if you do remember ମାନେ ପଢିଥିବ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ନିଗ୍ରିଟୋ ପ୍ରୋଟୋ ଅଷ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲଏଡ ମଙ୍ଗୋଲଏଡ ଏଇ ସବୁ ବ୍ରାଚି ୱେଷ୍ଟର୍ନ ବ୍ରାଚିସେଫାଲ ଏଇ ସବୁ ମନେ ଅଛି ତ ହର୍ବର୍ଟ ରିସ୍ଲେ ଦ ଷ୍ଟଡି ବାଇ ହର୍ବର୍ଟ ରିସ୍ଲେ ତୁମେ ଏଇଟା ପଢିଥିବ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ସୋସାଇଟି ସେଇ ପେପରରେ the racial features being given by Herbert Risley ସେଇ ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ରେସ୍ କଥା କହୁଛେ ରେସ୍ ଇଜ ବେସିକାଲି ଇଟ୍ସ ଏ ଅବଜର୍ଭେବଲ ଫିଜିକାଲ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସେସ୍ ଆମେ କେମିତି ଡିଫରେନ୍ସିଏଟ୍ କରୁଛେ କି ଆମେ କେମିତି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ୍ସ କେମିତି ନିଗ୍ରୋ ମାନେ କେମିତି है ना through skin color hair texture facial features etc. So historically race has been used to create social hierarchies and justify discrimination. Race, while race is a social construct, it is still used in various contexts, including government statistics, legal definitions, and cultural identity. Okay, and when we talk about ethnicity, ethnicity is that we already read. Uh, Ethnicity is defined by shared cultural traits like language, religion, customs, etc. This ethnicity, it can be a source of identity or community for individuals. It can be passed down through generations, but it can also be adopted or changed over time. Okay, so overall, race is primarily about physical appearance, whereas ethnicity is about the shared cultural traits and history. And both are social constructs, meaning they are defined by the society rather than being purely biological. Okay, so. Mm, Okay, this was conceptualizing ethnicity, Unit 22. It is over. Uh, now let's now discuss Unit 23. This is construction of identities. Construction of identities, Unit 23, where basically we will discuss about identity and the identity construction uh, by Erik Erikson. Then what is identity and what is identification, and multiple identities with reference to national character. Okay, these are the main objectives of this unit. Let's now first talk about Erik H. Erikson, 1959. Um, this is in the page number 18. So, sorry, 80. Erik H. Erikson, 1959, who happened to be a psychoanalytic theorist. He has introduced the term identity and also focused on inherent ambiguities of the term identity. Okay, the concept of identity. Identity is rooted in the Latin word idem, I-D-E-M. Identity is rooted in the Latin word idem. This is in common use in the English language since the 16th century. कि आमे कहू Latin word idem रो आसी the concept of identity. Okay, Oxford Dictionary. These are the definitions. You please do read it. Oxford Dictionary defines identity as the quality or condition of being the same in substance, composition, nature, properties, or in particular qualities under consideration. So in social science writings, this definition of identity is commonly not adopted because of its focus on inseparable, impregnable homogeneity. The sameness of a person or thing at all times or in all circumstances, the condition or fact that a person or thing is itself and not something else, individuality, personality. So this is the introduction and the meaning of the concept identity. Uh, this is now, I'm in page number 81. 23.2, the search for identity. Personal identity in psychology refers to the condition or fact of remaining the same person throughout the various phases of existence continuity of the personality. Okay, social historians trace the meaning of identity uh, uh, like in John Locke's Locke's essay concerning human understanding and David Hume, his writings on human nature. So the evolutionary theory in early anthropological writings talked about the psychic unity of mankind, thereby denying notions of individuality and identity. Uh, Here there are the definitions of identity. Please do remember the definitions, and in between you will get the definition. Okay. Okay. Immigration was identity in a personalized sense refers to a sense of alienation. What do you mean by alienation? Alienate କରିବା ମାନେ କ'ଣ? Alienation. If you remember Karl Marx theory of alienation, alienation means to escape from. Okay, alienation. Um, to escape from or alienation ଯେମିତି for example କାହାକୁ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ କୋଉ ଇଏରୁ କୋଉ ଗୋଟେ କାମରୁ ଏଲିନେଟ୍ କରିକି ସପୋଜ ତୁମର ଏବେ ଅଛି ସୋସିଓଲୋଜି ପଢିବାର ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟ ଅଛି ମୁଁ ସେଠୁ ଏଲିନେଟ୍ କରି କହୁଛି ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ଯାଅ ହିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ପଢ है ना ତ ତୁମର ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟ ଟାକୁ you are being alienated from your interest है ना identity in a personalized sense refers to a sense of alienation, uprootedness, loneliness, loss of belongingness, etc. Meaning of alienation. Okay, let's now talk about this is page number 82. Erickson's contributions to identity construction. Erik Erikson, ତାଙ୍କର କ'ଣ view identity construction ଉପରେ? Okay, this is very important portion, and Erik Erikson is a psychologist. His contribution is very important. Uh, okay, so first he viewed identity, Erik Erikson, identity as a fundamental organizing principle, which develops throughout the lifespan. And influenced by both individual experiences and social interactions. Please underline or remember individual experiences and social interactions. এই কথা କିଏ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଏରିକ୍ ଏରିକ୍ସନ୍ କି ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି ହେଉଛି ଗୋଟେ ଫଣ୍ଡାମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜିଂ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ ଯୋଉଟା କି ଡେଭଲପ ହୁଏ ପୁରା ଆମ ଲାଇଫ ସ୍ପାନରେ ହିଁ ଡେଭଲପ ହଉଥାଏ थ्रू आवर इंडिविजुअल आमे पर्सनली जहाँ एक्सपीरियंस करू आउ आमर अन्य मानक संगे जो सोशल इंटरैक्शंस होची सेथरु आमर आइडेंटिटी टा डेवलप होउची ओके सेकंड Erickson believed that a strong sense of self or ego identity is crucial for healthy psychological development, enabling individuals to understand their place in society and navigate various life stages. Basically, say psychology re ego identity kotha कहउचंती or the self or the ego identity kotha कहउचंती जोटा कि गोटे healthy psychological development pai it is very important. Okay. And thirdly, Erickson say कहउचंती कि the importance of exploring different roles and trying new things during adolescence to establish a coherent sense of self. Erickson, he highlights the importance of exploring different roles and trying new things during adolescence to establish a coherent sense of self. Seta kona seta in detail we will discuss now. His perspective. First, से कहते कि ego identity is a lifelong process. how is it? Um, the psychosocial theory of development, जोटा कि Erickson's theory, the psychosocial theory of development, where he says that identity is not a fixed entity, but rather it is a dynamic process. Dynamic process means it is not fixed. It is ever changing, ongoing process. ଆମର identities ରେ changes ଆସିଥାଏ. It's an ongoing process that unfolds across 8 distinct stages from infancy to late adulthood. Each stage presents a unique psychosocial crisis that individuals must navigate, and the successful resolution of these crises contributes to the development of a strong sense of self. Acha, you tell me, तुमମାନଙ୍କର इनफान्सी रु लेट चाइल्डहुड भितरे कोन गोटे ही आइडेंटिटी थाए कि आइडेंटिटी ऑफ कोर्स अलग अलग थाए आई मीन धीरे धीरे चेंजेस हो थाए बिकॉज इट्स अ डायनेमिक प्रोसेस आइडेंटिटी जोटा कि फिक्स नाही जोटा कि इगो आइडेंटिटी कथा कहउछंती कि लाइफ लॉन्ग प्रोसेस रे एडिक्शन कहउछंती लाइफ लॉन्ग प्रोसेस रे इगो आइडेंटिटी जोटा कि सब बेले ऑनगोइंग चली थाए गोटे फिक्स्ड आइडेंटिटी हम मानकर न थाए इनफांसी बेले हमें जो टाइप रो आइडेंटिटी थाए सेटा धीरे धीरे आउरी चेंज हेई हे लेट अडल्टहुड जाके चेंजेस आस्ताए तो हमरो each stage आमरो गोटे गोटे यूनिक सोशल क्राइसिस देखै थाए को स्टेज रे हमको कोडा भल लागे सेटा हमें से टाइप रो ही इन टर्म्स ऑफ सिचुएशन को देखि के हमें से हिसाब रे we behave on the basis of that particular situation. Okay, so ego identity is a lifelong process. Second, say Erickson also he talks about the adolescent stage jota ki from age 12 to 18 as a crucial period for identity formation, which he says that identity versus role confusion. That means during this stage, individuals explore different roles, interests, and beliefs as they attempt to establish a sense of who they are and where they fit within the society. Say, for example, 12 to 18 years. Okay. Of course, ପୁଅ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ହଁ ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଥିବ କ୍ରିକେଟ ଖେଳିବା ଆଉ ସବୁ ଯାହା ତାଙ୍କର ଚଏସ୍ ସେମିତି ଝିଅ ମାନେ ତାଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ ଫିଲ୍ଡ ଏରିଆ ତାଙ୍କର ଲାଇକନେସ୍ है ना इंटरेस्ट एरिया जोटा कि डिफरेंट ହେଇଥାଏ the individuals here explore different roles interests and beliefs as they attempt to establish a sense of who they are. Okay, then Erickson also talks about social context. Social context means we are sociologists. We are basically talking about when we talk about social context, that means we are giving emphasis on the social interactions or the cultural expectations. What we being the member of the society, what the society is expecting from us. आमे जेहेतु सोसाइटी रो जणे मेंबर सोसाइटी हमको हमटू कोन एक्सपेक्ट करूची कौन हमें कले तो Erickson emphasized the influence of social interactions and cultural expectations on identity development. He believed that individuals are not simply products of their internal experiences but are also shaped by their relationships with others and the societal norms they encounter. अच्छा, their relationships with others. এটা সত্য of course आमे peer groups रो influence रे बहुत आसी जाइथाउ peer groups जदि कहले हमको 12th परे मोर field area एया जोटा आमे चेंज करिया को सपोज चाहूचे से हिसाब रे आमे इन्फ्लुएंस हेथाउ है ना तो these are shaped by their relationships with others and the societal norms they encounter. Okay, next Erickson also talks about um, uh, individual in identity crisis. Okay, identity crisis कहले कोन if individuals fail to successfully navigate the identity crisis of adolescence they may experience role confusion, a sense of uncertainty about their identity and place in the world. This can lead to feelings of anxiety, lack of direction, and difficulty forming meaningful relationships. Okay. ଆମମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ identity crisis ବି ଆସିଥିଲା କୋଉ time ରେ? Okay. During the adolescent period, so they may individual they may experience role confusion. Identity crisis hele they will experience role confusion. Okay. Then Erickson say he emphasized the importance of identity in providing individuals with a sense of continuity and uniqueness. Okay, a strong sense of self allows we a strong sense of self allows individuals to feel a sense of consistency in their lives, even as they experience change and growth while also differentiating themselves from others. Okay, so Erickson overall he is emphasizing on identity as holistic, dynamic, and the interplay between individual experiences, social influences, and the ongoing process of self-discovery throughout the life. Okay, that was about Erickson's viewpoint. Let's now talk about this is identity and identification 23.4. This is in page number 84. The term identification is in common use in different contexts. It was formerly used in psychology by Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud, he has used the term identification. Just a sec. Milton Inger, this is Inger and Foot. Okay, identification is appropriation of and commitment to a particular identity or series of identities on the part of an individual. It proceeds by naming, and it means individual to whom that name was given accepted and committed himself to that identity. In other words, he accepts assignment to a category given to him on the basis of family, lineage, kinship, religion, work activity, or other attributes. Identification provides for appropriation of these identities. It promotes ascription to identified categories. What is ascription here? Ascription means the thing which is based by birth. Say, for example, caste system. We are a caste system like our surname. By birth, we are assigned ki amaro caste eta. So that is ascriptive nature of the caste system. Okay. So it promotes ascription to identified categories and evolves a sense of selfhood. So basically here, identity and identification. There are some definitions. Please, you have to read it by J. Milton Inger. लंबा चौड़ा डेफिनेशन अच्छी बट टिके शॉर्ट करी सेटा तमे देखिबो इन केस न बुझी पड़ले मते प्लीज आस्क मी इन द ग्रुप ओके बट इन शॉर्ट मु खाली टिके कहि दउची कि जे मिल्टन इंगर he is a prominent sociologist. He has examined ethnic identification in the context of assimilation and he proposed that identification can emerge as a consequence of the assimilation process. I repeat, identification can emerge as a consequence of the assimilation process, not just as a pre-existing identities. Inger according to him, as minority groups undergo assimilation, adopting the cultural patterns, values, and behaviors of the dominant society, they may face discrimination, exclusion, and identity threats. In response, rather than fully assimilating, these groups may reassert or strengthen their ethnic identity as a form of resistance or self-preservation. Therefore, Inger suggests that ethnic identification can be reactive and it is shaped by social pressures and interactions during the assimilation process. Okay, next is identity in sociological theory. How sociologists they have explained the concept of identity. Here comes R.K. Morton social structure. Mm, just a second. Okay. In sociological theory, identity basically refers to the way individuals and groups perceive and express themselves within the social context. Okay, I repeat, in sociological theory, identity refers to the way individuals and groups perceive and express themselves within the social context. आमे माने ग्रुप रे आमे माने कौन परसीव करूचो एंड ଆମମାନଙ୍କୁ କୋଉ ଟାଇପ ର ଆମେ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ରେସ କରୁଛୁ ଯେକୌଣସି ସୋସିଆଲ କଣ୍ଟେକ୍ସଟରେ ଆମେ କେମିତି ନିଜକୁ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲେନ କରୁଛୁ କଣ ପରସିଭ କରୁଛୁ ଆଉ କଣ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ରେସ କରୁଛୁ. Okay, that is identity. It encompasses both personal identity, how one sees oneself. Personal identity माने आमे निजे आमे निजको को प्रकार आमे देखु, and social identity, how we are seen by others based on group membership such as ethnicity, gender, class, or religion. Sociologists um, view identity as socially constructed. It means it is formed and reshaped through interaction with others. Okay, identity is formed and reshaped through interaction with others, social institutions, and cultural norms. ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି ସେଇଟା ହଉଛି socially constructed. It is formed identity ଆମର କେମିତି ତାର ଫର୍ମେସନ ହେଇଥାଏ କେମିତି ସେପ୍ ହେଇଥାଏ ସେଟା ଡିପେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛି ଆମେ କାହା ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ସନ କରୁଛେ ଆମେ କୋଉ ପ୍ରକାର interaction କରୁଛେ and କୋଉ institution ରେ ଅଛେ social institution and cultural norms. Okay, depending on that our identity is based on. Okay, so here we talk about two important thinkers, theorists, George Herbert Mead, um, and Erving Goffman. George Herbert Mead and Erving Goffman, uh, who emphasized the role of social interaction in identity formation. Okay, role of social interaction in identity formation. So here, G.H. Mead or George Herbert Mead, he says that identity develops through the process of taking the role of the other. The process of taking the role of the other. While Goffman talks about how individuals manage impressions in social situations, likening social life to a theatrical performance. ତ ଏଠି ଗଫମ୍ୟାନ୍ ବେସିକାଲି ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସୋସିଆଲ ଲାଇଫ ଟୁ ଏ ଥିଏଟ୍ରିକାଲ ପରଫର୍ମାନ୍ସ ସି ଷ୍ଟିଗ୍ମା କଥା କହୁଛନ୍ତି ହିଜ୍ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ୱାର୍କ ଇଜ୍ ଅନ୍ ଷ୍ଟିଗ୍ମା. Okay, so modern sociological perspective like symbolic interactionism, social constructionism, and postmodernism, they also they stress the fluid and dynamic nature of identity. That identities are not fixed but are continuously negotiated and influenced by power relations, discourse, and social change. এটা কହୁଛନ୍ତି modern sociological perspective. They are symbolic interactionism, constructionism, and postmodernism. Um, and in pluralistic societies, individuals often hold multiple intersecting identities, and their significance can vary by context. So overall, identity in sociology is not seen as an isolated essence, but it is a product of ongoing social processes which is shaped by both structure and agency. Okay, this is what sociologists have talked about on identity. Okay, let's now talk about 23.6 multiple identities. I am in page number 87, multiple identities. What is multiple identities? Multiple identities basically refers to either the presence of distinct personality states within a single individual, or the recognition of multiple social identities that individuals hold simultaneously. Okay, multiple social identities that the individuals hold simultaneously, that is multiple identities. A multiple social identities. Here, individuals often they have the multiple identities related to their different roles. For example, uh, she she is a mother. At the same time, she is also an employee in the office. Okay, and the social demographic groups. Uh, for example, gender, age, religion, nationality, and profession. Okay, individual manankara jetebele ame multiple identities kotha kohu, that means we are talking about their different roles and their social demographic groups. uh, a multiple social identities, it can help individuals to cope with the life changes, reduce the negative impact of failures, and navigate social situations more effectively. Okay, this is multiple identities. Uh, what are the other terms or concepts associated with multiple identities? We are talking about social identity. Okay, the part of an individual's self concept which arises from their knowledge of their membership in a social group and the emotional significance attached to that membership. Okay, and the second is integration. The process of successfully integrating multiple social identities into a coherent sense of self. Okay, multiple social identities को आमे केमिति गोटे coherent self रे भाबरे नउचे. Okay. So that was multiple identities. Let's now talk about 23.7. This is national character and identity studies. In the post-World War II era, construction of identity moved from the domain of personal to constructing national identity. Earlier, we were talking about the domain of personal identity. Now, we are moving focus to construct national identity. Okay, national character studies, which is carried out by anthropologists like Margaret Mead, then Ruth Benedict in the early 1940s. Uh, it acquired immense sociological significance. And later on, the studies by Erikson, um, who made the concept of identity popular. And the national character studies were brought in the sociological discourse with the publication of G.H. Mead's major work. What is the name of this particular work? And keep your powder dry. Okay, and keep your powder dry. This is published in 1942 by G.H. Mead and Ruth Benedict's study of Japanese society, the Chrysanthemum and the Sword, which is published in 1946. These two books name you need to remember because here Margaret Mead and Ruth Benedict, they have contributed uh, very important contributions in this field, national character and identity studies. Okay, So mainly the focus in these studies जो identity studies तारा focus कौन to explore how cultures influence individuals and their personalities and impact formation of their national characters. Okay, आमको केमिति culture आमर संस्कृति आमको केमिति आम ऊपर कौन impact पकोची and आम मानकर पर्सनालिटीज एंड ए जो इम्पैक्ट फॉर्मेशन होची आमे केमिति नेशनल कैरेक्टर को से तार इम्पैक्ट ता केमिति नेशनल कैरेक्टर को कोन रिप्रेजेंट करूची सेटा होची मेन थीम ऑफ आइडेंटिटी स्टडीज. So Erikson developed his ideas on ego identity and group identity. Um, Even though the concept of identity was inspired by national character studies, its popularity surpassed character studies. National character studies are now invariably referred in a historical sense, whereas identity studies are being reinterpreted in almost all branches of social science. Please you read it, okay? National character and identity studies, okay? केमिति आम कल्चर आमको इम्पैक्ट पकोची what is the impact or the influence of the culture on the individuals and how their personalities are shaped and how it impacts on the formation of the individual's national characters. This is the theme of identity studies, national character and identity studies. Um, so here we're talking about personal identity and social identity. Once linkages between construction of personal identity and social identity were firmly established, social scientists started looking at problems that individuals confronted in keeping congruence between the two in situations where these two constructions of identity came in conflict with each other. Okay, how personal identity and social identity differs in different contexts. Okay, while concluding, um, so there are questions relating to identity acquired critical dimensions in the post-World War period due to the crumbling of citadel of colonialism and reconstruction of national boundaries. No need. Okay. अच्छा ये गोटे इम्पोर्टेंट जिनस अच्छे से पैराग्राफ रे आई मीन पेज नंबर 89 last paragraph. Assimilation was believed to be the natural norm for all those who moved from outside into the domains of their new habitats. National integration and national solidarities emanating from geographical concepts of nation state were the key issues in the political assimilation process important and social identity operated under the assumed assumption of identification with the larger social milieu that was represented by a mass society. So here the Frankfurt School, mainly the work of Reisman's The Lonely Crowd and Hanlon's The Uprooted. These are the two major publications of the Frankfurt School of Thought. We have in sociology different schools of thought. Okay, say through Frankfurt School of Thought, there are duita publications. The Lonely Crowd by Reisman and The Uprooted by Hanlon's. So these two works were rooted in a theoretical approach called dialectical method. Here dialectic means a process of realizing contradictions and reconciling those contradictions in a more realistic frame of reference. Okay. Okay, I'll give you one example here. This is the last paragraph. Here we're talking about the dialectical method. Dialectic, if you remember, dialectical materialism or dialectical idealism, where Hegel is talking about the ideas, but dialectic अर्थ होची totally तांकर ideas को न हटेकी rather Karl Marx कौन करचंती So question idea is important as per Hegel. Idea is important. Uh, Other than that, we have materialism. So he is not totally rejecting Hegel's idea of dialectical idea. Rather, he is adding materialism. So it becomes dialectical materialism. Okay. So, and the last identity is all about what is common and what is specific. Okay, so this unit is on the contemporary issues of ethnicity and identity. Okay, this is unit 23. Let's now discuss unit 24. Unit 24 is about boundaries and boundary maintenance. Till now, is it clear to everyone? Please say yes or no.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Now this is okay. Okay. Unit 24. This is boundaries and boundary maintenance. So here we will be looking at again the definitions of ethnicity, ethnic group and ethnic boundaries, then polyethnic societies, and the melting pot theory. Frederick Birth କଥା ଆମେ କହୁଥିଲେ first unit ରେ unit 22 ରେ ସେଇଟା ଏଠି ଆସିବ. It's very important. Okay, first of all, the definitions of ethnic group. Okay, the concept of ethnic group combines both social and cultural criteria, and the study of ethnicity focuses precisely on the interrelation of cultural and social process in the identification of and interaction between such groups. The ethnic group exactly कौन हम सेटा देखिबा. Just a sec. I'll give you uh, the definitions. This is by Max Weber. This is in page number 92. Max Weber, 1958. He defined ethnic group. Uh, what he says ethnic group, an ethnic group is a human collectivity. Okay, human group or human collectivity that is based on a belief in a common ancestry. Okay, common ancestry, whether or not a common blood relationship exists. Okay, this is his definitions of ethnic group. Then um, next is this is Milton Inger. It's also important. J. Milton Inger, an ethnic group is a segment of a larger society. যদিও সেটা এটি নাহি ডেফিনিশনটা, but it was in the unit 22. Okay. An ethnic group is a segment of a larger society whose members are thought to have a common origin and share common cultural and social traits. Okay. Max Weber कौन कहले? Max Weber कहले कि ये होची गोटे ह्यूमन ग्रुप और ह्यूमन कलेक्टिविटी जोटा कि आमे एथनिक ग्रुप कहले आमे बुझू कि द ह्यूमन ग्रुप जोटा कि बेस्ड ऑन आवर कॉमन एंसेस्ट्री आमर बाय फ्रॉम जनरेशंस. ओके, कॉमन एंसेस्ट्री मीन्स द रिलेशनशिप जोटा कि सिंस जनरेशन रो चली आसी सेटा होची से ह्यूमन ग्रुप. ओके, एटा कहउछन मैक्स वेबर. आ मिल्टन इंगर से कहउछन कि एथनिक ग्रुप कहिले बुझौची गोटे सेगमेंट ऑफ ए लार्जर सोसाइटी. सोसाइटी रो गोटे लार्ज सेगमेंट जहार मेंबर माने सेमानक पाखरे गोटे कॉमन ओरिजिन अछि एंड सेमाने गोटे कॉमन कल्चरल एंड सोशल ट्रेट्स को शेयर करंती. ओके, say for example, suppose I'm गोटे ट्राइबल ग्रुप कथा कहउचे. ट्राइबल ग्रुप they are sharing common cultural traits, common social traits, they have a common origin, etc, etc. Okay, so this is an ethnic group. Next, this is by Erickson Erickson से कहते कि ethnic group is a social group that sees itself and is seen by others as culturally distinct based on the features like language, religion, customs or history. Erickson से कहते कि it's a social group ଯାହାକୁ ଦେଖନ୍ତି ଅନ୍ୟମାନେ which is seen by others as culturally distinct. Culturally ଆମେ ଦେଖୁ suppose tribal କଥା ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ଆମେ ଦେଖୁ they are culturally distinct, they have a different dialect, they have a different religion, different customs ତାଙ୍କର ଯାହା ଅଛି ହେଲା ତ ସେଇଟା ହଉଛି an ethnic group. So these definitions highlight the shared cultural traits, common ancestry, self-identification, and social reorganization as these are the some components of ethnic group identity. So here overall, when we talk about what are the components of ethnic group identity, these are first is shared cultural traits, second common ancestry, third self-identification, fourth social recognition. Okay, these are the features of a ethnic group identity. Okay, let's now talk about, this is very important, Frederick Birth, ethnic group and boundaries. I mean page number 95. 95, Frederick Birth and ethnic group and boundaries. So Frederick Birth, he sorry, just a sec, just a sec. He kind of revolutionized the study of ethnicity with his important work, which was published in 1969. 1969, that is ethnic groups and boundaries. His major work, Ethnic Groups and Boundaries, it was published in 1969, where he says or he challenged the earlier views that treated ethnic groups as fixed entities defined by shared culture, language, or ancestry. Instead, he argues that Frederick Birth, I'm talking about Frederick Birth, what he argues is ethnicity is not defined by the cultural content of a group, but by the boundaries that distinguish one group from other. Okay, I repeat, ethnicity is not defined by the cultural content of a group, but by the boundaries that distinguish one group from another. So what are those boundaries? Let's now discuss. What are his important ideas? Frederick Birth. So first is uh, he's talking about boundaries over culture or social boundaries. Okay, um, ethnic groups maintain their identity not by preserving specific cultural traits, but by actively maintaining social boundaries. जदि से social boundaries को maintain करूचंती, they maintain their identity not by preserving specific cultural traits. पुराना जमाना रो माने पुराना generation रो जो cultural traits चली आछि ताकू जदियो न preserve करूचंती, but actively they are maintaining their boundaries, तभी भी they are called the ethnic groups. Okay, so these boundaries persist even when cultural practices change or are shared across groups. Okay, that is the first point. जोटा कि से social boundaries कथा कहउचंती. Second, ethnic identity is a product of both internal self-identification and external recognition by others. Okay, ethnic identity is a product of both internal self-identification and external recognition by others. What matters here is how groups define themselves and how they are seen by outsiders. Okay, आमे निजे आम निजको केमिति आइडेंटिफाई करू ओके आमे निजो को निजे केमिति डिफाइन करूछु एंड हमको अन्य माने को हिसाब रे देखुछन ओके दैट इज कॉल्ड द रिकॉग्निशन गोटा हला सेल्फ आइडेंटिफिकेशन आ गोटा हला रिकॉग्निशन हमको अन्य माने एक्सटर्नल और द आउटसाइडर से माने हमको को हिसाब रे रिकॉग्नाइज करूछंती बा देखुछंती ओके थर्ड ethnicity emerges and is maintained through interaction with other groups rather than isolation other groups mananko द्वारा जो interaction आमे करूछ ethnicity emerges and is maintained through interaction with other groups rather than isolation so the presence here the presence of others helps define who we are ओके आमे अन्य संगे रे इंटरैक्शन कले तो से माने ही आम विषय रे कहबे ना अन्य जनक संगे रे सपोज मु सोशल इंटरैक्शन करूची तभी जाई से तो कहबे ना तुम मानक संगे इंटरैक्शन करूची तबे तो जाई कि तुमे कहबे ना कि मधु मैडम एमती कहले सेमती कहले okay so the presence of others helps define who we are I'll give an example or in general the presence of you uh, define who I am. Okay, what kind of teaching is I'm giving. Okay, এটা তোমাকে পড়াউছি সে পাই তো তুমি হি কইবা না কি এই টাইপ র তুম প্রেজেন্স अछि बोली the presence of yours helping me define uh, how I am what I am doing okay so this is basically interaction based social interaction the interaction with other groups okay next Frederick Barth he emphasized the fluid and situational nature of ethnic identity okay fluid and situational nature of ethnic identity people may shift or negotiate their ethnic identity depending on the context fluid situational nature कहउछन माने that means here it is not static constant nahi okay it's dynamic the process is ongoing okay and Barth's work Frederick Barth's work laid the foundation for constructivist approach to ethnicity and remains highly influential in anthropology and sociology okay so these were the Frederick Barth's conception of identity okay let's now come to page number 96 this is 24.4 ascription as the critical factor okay what is ascription ascriptive or ascription means the things which we get by birth okay for example the caste system ethnic groups are recognized as status categories within these categories it is crucial that members of these groups ascribe themselves to these formations and their membership is so recognized by the others okay से ग्रुप मानकर जो मेंबर्स ग्रुप रो जो मेंबरशिप एंड तांकर formation or their membership is so recognized by the others because of why because they belong to that particular group से ग्रुप रो से माने मेंबर सेथि पई तो तांकर मेंबरशिप टा फिक्स अछि ना okay so membership ethnic groups are recognized as status categories the processes of interaction are thus determined by this concept of belongingness which is not only attributed by the self to the group but it is also recognized by the others the denial of this ascription is problematic for the survival of the individual in a group and that of group in any inter-ethnic situation. So, cultural emblems like dress, dialect, symbols play a significant role in the assertion of ascription. Okay, आमे ascription कथा कहूचे assertion of ascription जोठी की को जिनसर important role अछि culture cultural emblems like dress pattern, dialect, the symbols that we use. Okay. So, the cultural features that signal the boundary may change, and the cultural characteristics of the members may likewise be transformed. Indeed, even the organization formation. um See, this is not very important ascription as a critical factor. Uh, you just read the box. This is 24.1, investigating ethnic boundaries. That is important. Okay, where is talking about, but is talking about the cultural stop thing. Cultural stuff जोटा कि that outlines distinctiveness and sustains differentiation. Jenkins कहते कि in insisting that there is no simple equation between uh, seamless, oh, that's long definition. uh, in short, I'll also suggesting that the cultural stop out of which that differentiation is arbitrarily socially constructed is somehow irrelevant. There's no need. Just leave it, this portion. Okay. Ethnic societies. In polyethnic societies, every ethnic group draws boundaries using its cultural stop as critical in maintaining these cultural, often political and economic categories. You just totally leave it. Cultural content of ethnicity, the stuff which births boundaries enclosed is largely interchangeable and rarely historically uh, authenticated. Leave that portion. This is not very important. Now come to the polyethnic societies. This 24.5, page number 97. Here, Frederick Bartz, in his analysis of ethnicity, uh, um, uh, he preferred the term polyethnic uh, over the more commonly used concept of multi-ethnic. Okay, ସେ prefer କରୁଛନ୍ତି polyethnic କଥା rather multi-ethnic. Multi-ethnic କ'ଣ? This is page number 97. फ्रेडरिक बर्थ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ଏଥନିସିଟି କଥା କହୁଛନ୍ତି, mainly ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କି polyethnic over the more commonly used multi-ethnic to emphasize the interactive and dynamic nature of ethnic boundaries within a society. ସେ ଯେତେବେଳେ multi ethnic କଥା କହୁଛନ୍ତି, multi ethnic କ'ଣ? ଯୋଉଟା କି which is rooted in Greco-Roman uses. Greek and Roman usage of the concept multi-ethnic often implies the coexistence of distinct fixed groups within a single society. So Frederick Berth's use of polyethnic suggests a more fluid and interrelated system of ethnic identities. See, ତମେ ଏତିକି ମନେ ରଖ କି multi ethnic କଥା କହିଲେ ଯୋଉଟା କି Greek Roman usage ରେ ଅଛି, ତା ଅର୍ଥ there is existence of distinct fixed groups. ତା ଅର୍ଥ ସେଠି ଆଉ କିଛି changes ଆସିବନି. That is static thing within a single society. There are fixed groups, distinct groups. Okay, and polyethnic কথা ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ କହୁଛେ, ତା ଅର୍ଥ there is very fluid and interrelated system of ethnic identities. That's it. And Frederick Barth, for him, ethnic groups are not isolated cultural units, but they are defined in relation to each other through continuous interaction, negotiation, and boundary maintenance. See, ଆମେ ସେ ଟିକେ ପୂର୍ବରୁ କହିଥିଲେ socially boundary maintenance, social boundaries ତାକୁ କେମିତି maintain କରାଯିବ ସେ ଉପରେ ସେ focus କରୁଛନ୍ତି. ତ mainly ethnic group କଥା ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କି these are not isolated cultural units. ethnic group କଥା କହିଲେ ଆମେ କ'ଣ କହୁ କି there is continuous ଯୋଉଟା ଚାଲିଥିବ ongoing process, the continuous interaction, negotiation, and boundary maintenance. So, in a polyethnic society, ethnic identities are shaped and reshaped through these processes where boundaries are socially constructed and situationally maintained, not permanently fixed. Okay, so this is polyethnic society. Uh, this terminology, polyethnic society, terminology shift aligns with Frederick Berth's constructivist view that ethnic identity is not based on static cultural content. Static means it is not based on fixed cultural content, but ongoing social processes which create and sustain distinctions between groups. By using polyethnic, Frederick Worth underscores that ethnic boundaries exist within networks of interdependence. ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କି polyethnic କଥା ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କି ethnic boundaries exist within the networks of interdependence rather than as separate and compartmentalized cultures. Okay, so ଏଠି networks of interdependence କଥା କହୁଛନ୍ତି, networks of interdependence. Okay, let's now talk about the next portion. This is 24.6 melting pot and beyond. This is page number 98. Milton Gordon, in the year 1964, in his important book Assimilation in American Life, his important contribution, Assimilation in American Life, where Milton Gordon made uh, a significant and sustained effort to distinguish between assimilation and pluralism. Okay, assimilation and pluralism. These are the two concepts जोटे कि मिल्टन गॉर्डन भितरे distinction टा बाहर करचंती. The concept of melting pot implied assimilation at the expense of individual communities, foregoing their individual identities and evolving nationalistic American individual. Okay, let's now first talk about what is assimilation and what is pluralism. Because here Milton Gordon is distinguishing between assimilation and pluralism. Assimilation कहले कौन बुझाए? According to Gordon, assimilation is a it's a multi-stage process. Okay, multi-stage process through which minority groups gradually adopt the cultural patterns and social institutions of the dominant group. Okay, minority group जो माने अछंती से माने कौन करूछंती धीरे धीरे से माने जो माने डोमिनेट सेही सोसाइटी रे जो डोमिनेंट ग्रुप मानकर तांकर सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस केमिति तांकर कल्चरल पैटर्न्स ड्रेस पैटर्न एवरीथिंग सेटा केमिति सेटा को माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप माने धीरे धीरे केमिति अडॉप्ट करूछंती सेटा होची assimilation जोटा के मल्टी स्टेज प्रोसेस. Gordon here outlined several stages including cultural assimilation जोठी से माने sorry जोठी की Gordon कहउछंती acculturation कथा. Acculturation means ACCULTURATION. Cultural assimilation or acculturation means adoption of dominant cultural traits. से कल्चरल एसिमिलेशन कथा कहउछंती एंड स्ट्रक्चरल एसिमिलेशन कथा कहउछंती. स्ट्रक्चरल एसिमिलेशन कहिले कोन बुझौची कि एंट्री इनटू द सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस ऑफ द मेजॉरिटी और द डोमिनेंट ग्रुप. फॉर एग्जांपल सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशन कोन हमर स्कूल कॉलेज क्लब्स नेबरहुड्स एक्सेट्रा. So this is structural assimilation, entry into the social institutions of the majority. And also he talks about marital assimilation, where he's talking about the intermarriage between groups. Okay, and lastly he's talking about identificational assimilation, that means developing a sense of shared identity with the dominant group. Okay, a sense of shared identity with the dominant group. So here he argues that true assimilation involves not just cultural change but full integration into the major institutions of society. Okay, so this is assimilation. And when we talk about pluralism, pluralism means a situation where minority groups retain their distinct cultural identity. Retain माने कोन तांकर distinct cultural identity जोटा सेटा को से माने retain maintain करि चलथांती. हाँ ठीक अछि नोटा अडॉप्ट करूछंती बट दैट डजंट मीन कि पुराना तांकर जहा अछि जो कल्चरल आइडेंटिटी ताको छाडी देबाटा सेटा संभव नै. Okay, where minority groups retain their distinct cultural identities while participating in the larger society. ଯେତେବେଳେ larger society ରେ ଯାଇ participate କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେଠି ସେମାନେ ନିଜର previous जो identity ଅଛି distinct cultural identity ତାକୁ ସେ retain କରି ରଖିଛନ୍ତି. Okay, so here he talks about cultural pluralism and structural pluralism. Cultural pluralism means maintenance of different cultural traditions, maintenance of different cultural traditions, and structural pluralism means parallel institutions. For example, schools or church that serve different ethnic groups. That is structural pluralism. So here, Milton Gordon he highlights that pluralism resists full assimilation. Okay, pluralism resists full assimilation, emphasizing coexistence and diversity rather than uniformity. Okay, emphasizing coexistence and diversity rather than uniformity. His work helped shape later debates on multiculturalism and ethnic relations in modern societies. जोठी से कहते Anglo-Saxon core group. Something was there. It's a long story that you need to read. So melting pot katha, when we talk about the concept of melting pot, that implies assimilation at the expense of individual communities, foregoing their individual identities and evolving the nationalistic American individual. So here the concept of melting pot rooted in the notions of Anglo conformity demanded the complete renunciation of the immigrants' ancestral culture in favor of the behavior and values of the Anglo-Saxon core group, which is according to Milton Gordon. Okay, ताले से melting pot को तो कहते हैं basically से कौन कहते हैं कि assimilation at the expense of individual communities, foregoing their individual identities and evolving the nationalistic American individual. Okay, so in common uses, melting pot could stand for both of these concepts. So let's now talk about the critique of Frederick Berth's model. So here we have Jenkins and Abner Cohen find Berth's arguments restrictive. In their opinion, Berth fails to incorporate dynamic nature of ethnicity in his efforts to evolve a model of enclosures defined by self-ascriptive boundaries. Then Talal Asad, in his work Market Model, Class Structure and Consent, a reconsideration of SWAT political organization want to maintain boundaries, places Berth in Hofschian tradition. Okay. So sustenance of boundaries. Okay, so overall, I'll explain it in 2 points. Okay, Frederick Berth's model of ethnicity, जोटा कि से आउटलाइन करचंती in his important work in जोटा कि published हेतला in 1969, ethnic groups and boundaries. That was groundbreaking, but it has also faced several criticisms over time. Okay, while his emphasis on boundaries and social constructions transformed the study of ethnicity, scholars, different other scholars, they have pointed out several limitations or criticisms. So first is under emphasis on power and inequality. Okay, Berth कौन कहले कि social maintaining social boundaries. Social boundaries को केमिति maintain करिवो कहउचंती. Berth focuses on the boundary maintenance and interaction, but he pays very little attention to power relations, domination or structural inequality. So here, critics means who are giving the criticism. The critics argue that he overlooks how ethnic boundaries are often shaped and enforced through coercion, discrimination, and historical hierarchies. Ethnic boundaries टाको केमिति shape हब and enforced through coercion, discrimination, and historical hierarchy. But he forget to explain about this power relation, domination, and structural inequality. So here, overall, he is under emphasizing on power and inequality. Okay. Then his model, Frederick Berth's model, is largely ahistorical. Ahistorical means what? It downplays how colonialism, migration, state policies, and historical processes shape and solidify ethnic identities. So here, the critics they argue that uh, understanding ethnicity requires deeper historical grounding. Without learning the history, colonial time रे कौन थिला सेटा जदि न पढ़ी कि आगु को जणे बढ़िबो, can he be able to explain the state policies or the historical processes कोटा केमिति shape करूथिला ethnic identities को? No. So ସେଥିପାଇଁ ବର୍ଥଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ ମଡେଲ ସେଇଟା ହଉଛି largely ahistorical because ଗୋଟେ deeper historical grounding ସେ ଦେଇନାହାନ୍ତି, rather deeper historical grounding କାହାର कि how to understand ethnicity. Okay, ସେଇଟା ସେ ନ ଦେଇ totally ବାକି process କଥା କହି ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି. Okay, next, say Frederick Berth, while challenging essentialist views, Frederick Berth may go too far in minimizing the role of shared cultural content. So some scholars believe that culture still plays a meaningful role in identity formation beyond just boundary making. एठी फ्रेडरिक वर्थ जोठी से बार बार social maintaining of socially boundaries ये सब कथा कहउचंते, but cultural uh, cultural content, cultural trait, the shared cultural content ताको तारो रोल टा तारो importance he is giving very less emphasis on this. Okay, then by emphasizing the fluidity and negotiation of ethnic identity, uh, Frederick Berth's approach may risk relativism, making it difficult to analyze cases where ethnic identity is strongly felt, deeply rooted, or resists to change. So, ଏଠି ଆମେ ଏଟା କହିବା ଯେମିତି ଟିକେ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ସେ କଣ କହିଥିଲେ, he is giving very less attention to culture. ଏଠି he is too flexible or relativistic. Like his approach is it may risk relativism. Okay, जोटकी ethnic identity is strongly felt or deep rooted, or it is resistant to change. So despite these criticisms, his work remains very groundbreaking or foundational, and it has inspired both refinement and expansion of ethnicity theories in sociology and anthropology. Okay, tankara contributions in sociology and anthropology re ethnic theories re tankara he has very major contribution. Okay, who's the Frederick Berth. Okay, now come to the conclusion part. Oh, we have 5 minutes. Okay. So conclusion overall what we have read. Nationalism is the political doctrine which holds that humanity can be divided into separate, discrete units, nations, and that each nation should constitute a separate political unity state. This is not necessary. The construct of a polyethnic society comes loaded with notions of multiple nationalities that are bounded to each other by a common perception. This leave it. Overall, here in this last part, conclusion, what we have read that is just mentioned. National identity now derived from membership in a people and finally nation. uh, like by the 16th century, the word nation expanded to include a people or population. National identity now derived from membership in a people and finally nation referred to a unique people or a unique sovereign people. And it is the trajectory of definitions that became problematic. So blah blah blah. Okay, we have completed this sixth block six. It's an identity, ethnic. Sorry, contemporary issues in ethnicity and identity. Here we have conceptualized the concept of ethnicity, then construction of identities and boundary maintenance. Okay, we have okay. There is one announcement. We have class tomorrow and the day after. Okay, I have been assigned 16th, 17th, and 18th for this block 6, 7, and 8. Okay, don't forget to join tomorrow at the same time. We will have theories of social stratification. Um, we'll have 4 units tomorrow. Okay, so in the block 6, if you have any doubt you can ask me, or if you want to say something regarding this MSO-001. So is your date sheet announced for the exam? When
Yes,
is your
ma'am.
MSO-1? When is it?
19th June.
Okay. Can you tell me which I was saying that I'll send you some notes, but I forgot which units. Okay, what you guys want me to provide? Which notes? I mean, on which unit?
Ma'am, just short notes type which will be helpful for the last minute revision.
Okay, okay. So can it be possible to if I send okay, okay. I'll see. I'll see. I'll provide. I'll just make it very short. Each block, at least 3 or 4 pages from each block. Okay. I think that will be enough because you will get a single question from each block. I guess the question is 20 into 5, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But you have 8 blocks. You may get short notes like out of 3, attempt any 2, and because I have seen this MSO-1 paper
Ma'am,
last.
there are total 10 questions of 5 questions of each section, and we have to attend at least 2 from each section.
Okay, so total 5 questions you need to answer, no?
Yes, ma'am. There are 2 sections of each 12 questions, total 10 questions. From
Okay,
each section, we have to attend at least 2.
at least 2. Okay, from one section 2 and from another section 3. And in the 3, the second section, that may be one question, maybe write answer the short notes, because I have seen the question paper. Short question ର ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ question ରେ 3ଟା point ଥିବ, 3ଟା concept ଥିବ, explain these concepts. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
So each block ର ମୁଁ ସେଇଟା notes ଟା ଟିକେ ଦେଖିକି सेंड करदेवी नहेले एई क्लास रो टीचिंग रे जहाँ चलची है ना नेक्स्ट मु सेटा टिके ऑर्गेनाइज करी मु सेटा पठे देबी बट प्लीज कीप रिमाइंडिंग मी because yesterday was our
yes, ma'am.
last our vacation starts from today, so I just got the time. Okay, tomorrow I'll teach block 7 and day after tomorrow block 8. Day after tomorrow, after Sunday, you remind me for the notes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So do you have any doubt in block 6? Adyasa, who just joined the class? If you have any doubt, have you heard anything? No, she is not audible. It's not answering. Okay. Mm, okay, so from this section, block 6, please read the boxes. Okay. In each unit, there are 4 or 5 boxes. Um, like I'm saying, this is page number 69, rethinking ethnicity. So here in the box 22.1, you will get what Richard Jenkins have totally conceptualized on ethnicity. Okay, each block in the second block, that because the block portion I am not touching the block portion. Okay, the box, the concept of ethnos, which I didn't explain to you, because here already they have uh, pattern structurally they have mentioned here, so you just read it. Ethnogenesis, what is it? Or ethnos means a group of, let's now we have still 6 or 7 minutes, let's now focus on the boxes. Okay, concept of ethnos, when we talk about ethnos means it's a group of people जो माने गोटे common language कहउथिबे, and they have common origin, and they have a set of customs. They are being characterized by a set of customs and a particular lifestyle. Say for example, the tribal group or any other group. Okay, so they are the ethnos from the others of the same kind. Okay, socio-biological interpretations of ethnicity were critical in developing. Okay, study of ethnogenesis. Okay, next, corporate models of ethnic groups. Uh, Biologically self-perpetuating, members of the group shared basic culture. तो overall ethnicity कहले गोटे group जो माने they share the basic cultural values, the cultural traits, है ना? These values manifest themselves in overt cultural forms. Mm. କୋଉଠି କୋଉଠି କିଛି କିଛି କନସେପ୍ଟର ବେଶୀ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାନ୍ସ ଅଛି ସେଇଟା ଟିକେ ଦେଖିବ, ଆଣ୍ଡ ଜେନେରାଲି ବକ୍ସେସରେ ସେମାନେ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ସେ ୟୁନିଟ୍ର ହିଁ ମେନସନ୍ କରିଥାନ୍ତି. ଫର୍ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ୍ ଇନ୍ ପେଜ୍ ନମ୍ବର 82, the construction of identity, how the identity is being constructed is mentioned here, which I didn't touch. So you have to read these boxes. Then second is concept of identification. This is box 23.2 in page number 84. Okay, and then in the next page, self and identity. Overall, in general, what is self, what is identity, just ମୁଁ କହିଦେଇଛି, but overall ଏଠି ଟିକେ କୁଲି ch କୁଲି ଆଉ meet ସେ କ'ଣ explain କରିଛନ୍ତି through stigma ସେଇଟା ଟିକେ ତୁମେ ଦେଖିବ. Still, if you face any trouble, I am ready to answer. Okay, then unit 24. Found this. Okay, I'll also prepare some, after my portion is over, I'll prepare some expected questions. So did you have access to last year's question paper? Do you have access?
Yes, ma'am, we have.
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା, ତାହେଲେ ମୁଁ ଦେଇଥାନ୍ତି ତ ସେଇଠୁ ହିଁ ଦେଇଥାନ୍ତି. ଠିକ ଅଛି. ଆଚ୍ଛା ହଁ, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ପଏଣ୍ଟ, ଲାଷ୍ଟ 2-3 ଇୟର୍ସର କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ପେପରକୁ ଭଲରେ ତାକୁ ସେଇଟା ରିଭାଇଜ କରିଦିଅ, ବିକଜ ज़्यादातर
Okay, ma'am.
क्वेश्चन पेपर ही रिपिटेशन हुए, କାହିଁକିନା ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ସେମାନେ ଦେବେ ଯୋଉଟା କି ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ୟାଚରେ କ'ଣ ଗୋଟେ ଇୟରରେ 10 କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଦିଆଯାଉଛି ନା, 10 ଆର ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଇୟରର 10, ଟୋଟାଲ 20 क्वेश्चन, 20 क्वेश्चन आराम से प्रिपेयर कर दियो. 5 क्वेश्चन यू नीड टू आंसर ओनली 5 क्वेश्चन, नो, आउट ऑफ 20 आराम से 5 हो जाएगा.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks.
Okay, so any other ଅନ୍ୟମାନେ ଅଛନ୍ତି କେହି କିଛି କହୁନାହାନ୍ତି, କାହାର କିଛି ଡାଉଟ୍ ଅଛି କିଛି ରିଗାର୍ଡିଂ या फिर examination related? So did you submit your assignments?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Um, And from the assignment, you will get 30% of marks, है ना? 30% marks ही add हबो ना final रे. ଏଇଟା ହିଁ okay. So tomorrow we will discuss block 7. This is theories of social stratification. Yeah. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. The
Thank you,
recording
ma'am.
is going on. Okay. Sorry. Is anyone asking anything? No. Okay, you guys can leave.
Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome.